Welcome to Silicon Scoop, where we dive into the latest tech news impacting the world. Join John Irwin and the Startup Coach as they explore the tech news that matters to you. Stay ahead, stay informed, and now on with the show.
Hackers are stealing your encrypted data today, betting that a future quantum computer will unlock it tomorrow. But a breakthrough team of scientists just went the distance to lock them out forever, proving a quantum secure internet works over real world distances without breaking a sweat. So the quantum internet goes long distance now as research successfully transmitted unhackable quantum encrypted keys across 120 kilometers of standard fiber optic cable. The system completely ran on autopilot for over 6 hours, proving this isn't just a fragile lab experiment anymore. This bridges the gap between theoretical quantum security and practical city-to-city commercial real estate, effectively neutralizing the harvest now, decrypt later cyber threat for critical infrastructure. What's going on here, John?
Yeah, this is super cool. I know we've covered quantum encryption, quantum keys, and blockchain potential hacking. So this is really cool. So why the 120 kilometers matters is it may not sound enormous compared to classical internet distances, but in quantum communication, it's extremely significant because right now, the way we're using photons is they're really fragile. And so quantum states cannot simply be amplified like normal internet signals. So in classical telecommunications, you've got repeaters that regenerate degraded signals every so often. But in quantum systems, copying quantum information violates the no cloning theorem of quantum mechanics. So that means every kilometer adds exponential signal loss. So maintaining a stable, low error quantum communication over 120 kilometers while preserving usable key generation rates is a serious engineering challenge. And so the experiment reportedly maintained quantum bit error rates below 11%, which is crazy, while generating secure keys at roughly 15 bits per second. And this is in realistic operating conditions. So it sounds tiny compared to normal internet speeds, but QKD does not transmit data itself. It transmits encryption keys. So once the secure key is exchanged, normal high-speed classical encryption can take over. So I'm loving this. I every day or every time I open up my news app, there's always something new with quantum or with quantum encryption or something like that. This is a really cool one. What are your thoughts on this? What do you think about this?
I like to think of this update like upgrading from a fragile glass mirror to a digital clock to send a secret message. Older quantum systems encoded data using polarization of light, like tilting a mirror. If a fiber cable vibrates or gets warm, the mirror warps and the message gets scrambled. This new system uses time bin encoding. Instead of tilting the light, it sends a light particle at precise timed intervals like Morse code using clock ticks. Whether the cable shakes, freezes, or bakes, a clock tick is still a clock tick, keeping the message perfectly intact. So it's a working proof of concept, expected enterprise field deployments in 3 to 5 years at the enterprise level, with potential consumer network integration probably closer to 10 years.
Yeah, and so this is about post-quantum security, but not in the way most people think, okay? So many people confuse PQC, which is post-quantum cryptography, which is mathematical encryption resistant to quantum computers, versus quantum cryptography, which is QKD, which is security based directly on physics. So PQC, that relies on mathematical assumptions, whereas QKD relies on physical impossibility of measuring quantum states without detection. So this means that, and we're talking about QKD. QKD is theoretically information theoretically secure, whereas classical encryption, even quantum resistant encryption, may someday be broken by mathematical advances. So the future internet will likely combine both PQC and QKD for high security applications, if that makes sense. Did that kind of make things a little bit clearer about the two distinctions?
I think so. I mean, I read the article though, so yeah.
It's still really technical.
Yeah, it still really is technical. So you either are into it and want to get into the details or you don't. We'll continue to talk about it. Hopefully, we're not going to bore people too much. Infrastructure heavy, this is going to be, and expensive for telecom operators. Part of an estimated $6.3 billion global industry investment to upgrade to this quantum key encryption, but it'll eventually trickle down to standard enterprises. The distance of 120 kilometers of a standard optical fiber link, operating rate at 76 hertz, photon emission from a telecom C semiconductor dot, and a quantum bit error rate, so you mentioned this before, sustained under 11%. And I'm not going to read this, but the secure key rate of 1.9 times 10 to the power of 7 bits pulse, using a practical rate of 15 bits per second under finite key conditions. So it's not fast,
No.
but it doesn't necessarily need to be fast. The system levels the telecom band semiconductor quantum dots, the SQDs, with pure cell enhancement. These act as deterministic single photon sources, firing exactly one photon per pulse to eliminate multi-photon vulnerabilities. It routes these through a Sagnac interferometer-based time bin encoder to create 3 distinct qubit states, inherently stabilizing the signal against phase and polarization drift. So yeah, it's complicated how it takes this and locks it into the phase and then it passes it along. So yeah, it mirrors the transition of early classical computing from fragile vacuum tubes to resilient field-ready solid-state transistors. So the experiment utilized a pure cell effect to drastically boost the photon emission rate by placing quantum dot inside a tiny optical cavity. They force it to spit out a single photons much faster and with higher purity than it ever would happen in open space. I mentioned the telecom operators projected to invest $6.3 billion in hardware between 2025 and 2030, transforming QKD from an academic pursuit to massive capital expenditure race. And while 15 bits per second sounds agonizingly slow, it's the equivalent to a 1970s dial-up modem. It's actually a massive victory because quantum keys only need to encrypt a master password, not the entire data stream. 15 bits per second is more than enough bandwidth to continue to secure top secret text communication.
Yeah, and the one thing that we're not kind of bringing to the surface, and if you go through all of our podcasts, you'll see this trend, but China is dominating much of the quantum networking race. So there's a huge amount of practical QKD progress coming from Chinese institutions like the University of Science and Technology of China, Chinese Academy of Sciences. And China, I didn't know this, they already operate quantum satellites, which I didn't know. They operate long-distance terrestrial quantum networks and city-scale quantum communication backbones. And it's increasingly being viewed as both a cybersecurity race and a geopolitical infrastructure race. And so the US, Europe, and Canada, and India, they are all accelerating quantum network investments partly because of this, which makes total sense. But yeah, I think China's far and away way in the lead when it comes to this.
Well, I would assume they would be, only because government situation. And I say that because the government stays in power forever, so they can make massive long-term investments on infrastructure without the same concerns that we have. You know, the privatization, this and that, who's the contracts are for 4 years, we're going to flip, we're going to cancel this project, we're going to change this, we're going to change the scope, we're going to flip again in 4 years, and nothing ever gets done. So they have a massive advantage saying, we're going to build this quantum infrastructure and we're just going to do it. And, you know, the government just pays for it, it's done. There's no ifs, ands, or buts, right? So it's a different story. I'm not saying it's a better environment in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying it's better for massive long-term investments like this at a governmental level because they can pull in one direction for a long time versus our flip-flop on environmental or whatnot. Let's do oil, no, let's do solar, let's do this. We're not focusing on any. Therefore, we're not moving the needle enough in any one of the areas. Like they're saying, hey, we're doing quantum and we're doing it. I don't see any city or state or federal saying, hey, we need to secure quantum networks across the USA.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing it happening. So we'll see. I mean, it's all a matter of perspective, but yeah, it appears on the outside from us, they are ahead of us in this race. However, we must keep in mind a lot of stuff that comes out is propaganda. Maybe they're just telling us they're ahead on all this area. So, I don't want to.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. The quantum internet isn't a sci-fi fantasy anymore. It's a 120-kilometer reality that plugs right into our existing telecom lines. If you had to lock down your personal data from future quantum hackers, would you trust software that math updates, or do you want unhackable hardware physics running on your fiber lines? Let us know in the chat.
Tired of drowning in repetitive tasks while your competitors race ahead? Every minute you spend on manual data entry, scheduling, and routine processes is a minute you're not growing your business. Flowgrammer.ca transforms your workflow chaos into seamless automation. We build AI-powered systems that handle your busy work so you can focus on what actually makes you money. Our clients typically save 15 plus hours per week and see their productivity double within 60 days. Visit flowgrammer.ca for a free automation audit. That's flowgrammer.ca. Stop working in your business and start working on it.
What do you got going on, John?
Just plugging away, helping companies with government funding, attending events, probably startup drinks or Flowgrammer events. How about you, Craig?
Lots of stuff going on. I honestly don't know when this is going out. I have to check. I think it's going to go out in April. But there's all sorts of stuff going on. If you don't know about OpenClaw, it's the latest AI automation agent that's taken the world by storm in 2026. And OpenClaw Toronto chapter just launched. And we have all sorts of events going on. So check out openclawto.com. Our first demo night is April 14th. We have a Builder Cafe on April 10th. We have a bunch of other events. There's updates every day. We've deconstructed the latest 2 betas over the weekend that was launched in OpenClaw and what you should do about them. There's a bunch of articles over there. Go check that out. We're also over at flowgrammer.ca where we do N8N automations. We run the Flowgrammer community and do Builders Hub and connectivity for AI and business automation agents. And for everything else, head over to TorontoStarts where we hook up startups and investors at our Startup Investor Drinks. We do mentoring, we do workshops, we have a list of investors. There's a whole bunch of content over. You can also book me over there if you want a meeting with me to talk about whatever, help your startup. Check out TorontoStarts.com. But John, if people are looking for non-dilutive funding, where should they go and what is that?
Yeah, non-dilutive funding. We're talking government grants, tax credits. Come find me on LinkedIn if you have any questions. Right now is Shred Time, SRNED. But come reach out to me too if you've got a startup, if you've got a company. Reach out to me if you have any questions, and if they have company questions about their startup in general, where do they find you, Craig?
Yeah, find me at TorontoStarts.com. But John, just before we go, something's open right now, and it's closing May 31st. Thank you. Can Export. And what?
Yeah. So
what
if
should
you have
people
at
know
least
about that?
300,000 in revenue in the previous year, and you're looking to expand outside of Canada, reach out to me, and we can put together. We can talk about an application for Can Export.
All the links we talked about will be in the show notes wherever you're watching this. Thanks for watching, everybody. Leave us a comment, give us a like, give us a subscribe. We really appreciate it. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for tuning in to Silicon Scoop. We hope you enjoyed this episode's dive into the latest tech news. Stay connected with John Irwin and the Startup Coach on LinkedIn and subscribe for more insights and updates. Until next time, stay ahead, stay informed.